What's up, everybody? I've got some really nice buffs and changes for Klefki. As always, these buffs and changes are not meant to be looked at in a vacuum. Every single Pokemon has been given some pretty massive buffs and changes, and they're all balanced for in-game use. They're not balanced for competitive play. They're balanced for hardcore Nuzlocke and all that type of stuff. Not that you have to play that way, but that's just kind of what it's balanced around. And yeah, every Pokemon has awesome new tools to work with, Klefki being no exception. It's no longer, I mean, it was never unique as a Steel Fairy, but in terms of like a levitating Steel Fairy, Jirachi is also a Steel Fairy type of levitate as one of its abilities. The beautiful thing about having the ability to levitate in this hack is that you can switch to it whenever you need to with that infinite use ability capsule. I've balanced every single Pokemon to have several useful abilities. And with levitate, you can just use that ability capsule, switch to levitate when you need it. Steel Fairy with levitate is incredible defensively. It's beautiful. And then, of course, you have your main ability, which Klefki is known for, and Prankster, which is great for all types of stuff. So you've got Prankster Screens, Prankster Parting Shot, Prankster Taunt, Parting Shot being a TM that I give to like 80% of the decks, which just helps with all the offensive powerful things in the game, helps to deal with them. Same with giving Pokemon Intimidate and other stuff like that. You also have Priority Charm and Befriend being Special Charm, Prankster Encore, Prankster Fortify. Fortify is a Steel type version of Recover that a lot of Steel types have. Well, pretty much every Steel type has, if not something else for recovery. Every Pokemon has some sort of reliable recovery move now for the most part. So Prankster Fortify is great. Prankster Metal Sound drops per def by 4. Prankster Torment is pretty nice with Protect in game because they, of course, doesn't know how to like switch out unless they have a switch move or something like that. Z Lock-On gives you +3 special attack, which is pretty nice, especially for level 40. And then you have Z Fairy Lock, which is, of course, Klefki's signature move. The actual move itself is useless, and I can't really change that. Sadly, it's hard-coded. But I can make the Z effect give you +1 to all your stats, which is a cute little signature move for Klefki. Speaking of, I totally forgot to add this to the move sheet. Speaking of, if you're watching these videos in the background and you are using these as a substitute for the sheets, I'm calling you out, little Jimmy. You know, Mr. I use the sheets as Google. I use the videos as sheets. Yeah, stop doing that. Go check out the Google Sheet. The link is in the description. It took me at this point over a year to make this. The moves alone took me like 4 or 5 months of just straight documentation, both in game and on the sheet, organized into dozens of different categories. So please give those a look because I buffed and changed 600 moves. But if you listen this far into the video, you probably know that by now. If not, then definitely give that a look. Let me just quickly find Fairy Lock. I should probably just Control F, but I knew where it was. So yeah, there you go. Klefki is vibing. It's good for the AI, like the AI can use Z Fairy Lock on you and make it so you can't switch out, but in general it's useless in game. It's just for that Omni Boost, which is pretty good, especially at level 50. Level 50 is very early for an Omni Boosting move on most Pokemon, so that's great for Klefki. And that makes you very bulky, pretty strong, and very fast, so that's awesome. Speaking of, yes, you are very bulky, 62 HP. I try to keep HP based more on size in this hack, and Klefki is very tiny, so I don't see over like 62 is like the max HP I would see for it, but that's made up for with the incredible typing, incredible abilities, incredible moves, and of course basically 120 in both its defenses. 60, 120, 120 is good bulk as a Steel Fairy type. And then you have good 90 base speed, incredible ability in Prankster. 85 special attack is nothing too crazy, but like it's good enough, especially with you're not supposed to be an offensive Pokemon, but you could theoretically use an offensive set with like Prankster Calm Mind, Draining Kiss plus Prankster Calm Mind is pretty cool with like Aura Sphere, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Psychic, Shadow Ball. Flash Cannon is 110 base power, that's really nice. You do have Radiant Edge as a stronger option over Dazzling Gleam, which is Fairy type, Psyshock 95 base power, while Dazzling Gleam is just flat 80 for earlier in the game, and also just if you want a reteachable Fairy type stab, because not every fight you're going to need stab moves. You might just want pure utility for some fights. Like I said, that dual screens plus Parting Shot is beautiful. You can even Prankster taunt the AI before they can taunt you, and then you can get off your Prankster screens and then Parting Shot into your teammates, and go from there. Keep in mind that is all 4 of your move slots used up, and you also are giving up on a lot of useful level up moves. For example, you do have Priority and Magnetic Burst and Pixie Dust, but I would never even bother keeping those unless, every Pokemon has it just for the option, but I would never keep those unless I had like a max special attack plus special attack nature Klefki or something. Then maybe I would go for it. But in general, Prankster Encore, Prankster Charm, Prankster Befriend, Prankster Fortify, Prankster Parting Shot, Reflect Light Screen. Those are like the staple moves that you're going to be using for most of the game. Prankster Iron Defense plus Calm Mind is pretty cool with Draining Kiss. Nasty Pot is there, but it's not the best. Setup moves in general are heavily nerfed in this hack, both PP wise and in terms of just how good they are, because the climate is pretty damn hostile towards setup moves. All types of Pokemon have priority moves. Literally every Pokemon has priority moves that are stab. And then crit moves will also bypass defensive boosts, and those are very common in this hack. A lot of Pokemon have 100% crit rate moves. So yeah, definitely give those all a look in the Google Sheet down below. But in general, pretty damn simple buffs for Klefki. Again, I don't see over like 120 spit effort defense either for Klefki, so I think this is a pretty good compromise. Like in terms of how the stats look, I think they look very fitting for Klefki in this Hex context. Of course, you could do something much more tame and Klefki would still be incredible. But in this hack context where everything is a lot stronger, you're going to need some buffs and changes for everything. And Klefki is no exception. Great tool set. Jirachi, in terms of overlap, Jirachi is faster, has more special attack, slightly less bulky on the physical side. Let me actually check. I forget exactly. Keep in mind also Klefki is a much earlier Pokemon anyways, so even if it is like, yeah, Jirachi is actually bulkier, 60, 120, 140 bulk with 80, 100 offenses and 100 speed, but you don't have Prankster, you know, you have Syringria, so that's already like, they don't outclass one another at all. And then of course Mega Mawile has, and Mawile in general, not just Mega Mawile, but base Mawile is awesome as well. You can check the other Steel Fairies out as well, and then Magearna we'll get to eventually, who's fucking Magearna. So yeah, thanks so much for listening, everybody. I think I'm just gonna leave the video off there. Pretty simple. Seriously though, if you're somebody who is looking at these videos and using these as a substitute for the sheets, don't do that. Go to the Google Sheet. Don't be lazy. It's right there. I put a lot of time into that. Give it a look. Thanks so much for listening though. I've said it like 4 times by now, but I really do mean it, honestly. If you do listen this far in, I actually thank you a lot. It means a lot to me. Yeah, I'll be back for more Kalos buffs and changes coming up, everybody. Peace.